Radio check, loud and clear, loud and clear. Thank you everyone for tuning in and welcome along to the coverage here in Silverstone. We have got a lot of action here waiting for us and a lot of things to look forward to. So thank you everyone for coming along, and we've already got 1,400 people tuned into live stream. Currently up on the screen we have got the free practice 3 data. From that we will go to the QUALI data very soon. Just bear with me for a second while we get all of the correct sizes, all of the correct data up on the screen. Okie dokes. Yeah, we should be getting underway very soon. Okay. Fantastic. Okay, so here we go then. I shall run through what we've had happen in free practice 1, free practice 2, free practice 3, and then we'll do a little bit of insight into what I think is going to happen in qualifying, and then once we're done with that we'll do a couple of laps of Silverstone, and by that time qualifying will have begun. So 28 minutes left, folks, till the start of QUALI, and a lot of action to look forward to. Alrighty then. Yeah, let's get underway, shall we? We have got, firstly in free practice 1, nothing all that eventful, if I'm going to be totally honest with you. We've had a couple of drivers make some spins, make some mistakes here and there, to be expected in free practice 1. Then we will have, let me just block the adverts there so nobody gets any ads. Okay, and then after free practice 1 we had free practice 2, where the temperatures were pretty hot. The Mercedes team weren't doing so great in those conditions, and the big standout was of course Lewis Hamilton. He was performing fantastically in that Ferrari, and yeah, it's been on the up for Lewis Hamilton, and I hope that he can score some solid points this weekend, potentially even stick it on pole position. The Ferraris have got some serious pace this weekend, and this weekend might be the one where Hamilton can get onto the podium. Yeah. All right. One major talking point: Oliver Bearman has got a 10-place grid penalty. 10-place grid penalty. That is for at the end of FP3, he sped up to race speeds, and while doing so, he broke the red flag rules, and then ended up locking up while going into the pit lane, crashing the car, breaking his front wing, and just an all-round huge blunder by Ollie Bearman, and he's ended up out of he's just going to lose a bunch of positions for that. 10 places back, so I don't even think the Haas's were ever going to make it into Q3, and if they did, he's going to start from 19th, 18th, something like that. Really bad. I missed it. Once QUALI ended, like FP3 finished, I didn't even mention it because, FP3 finished, I was like, all right, all the drivers just coming into the pit lane, I'll end the stream now. And Oliver Bearman, while driving into the pits, he locked up his rear tyres, lost the car, drove into the barriers, and then after driving into the barriers, went back into the pits. The front wing was still deposited there on the side of the circuit. The FIA had a review of the data, and they were like, well, there's something odd going on here. What's just happened? And surprisingly enough, Ollie Bearman had binned it into the barrier, had sped up to 260 kilometers per hour and crashed the car. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here with the speed traps. Let me get all of this sorted out, folks. But this is now two times that Oliver Bearman has done this, where he did it in Monaco with, he did it in Monaco, speeding under red flag conditions, made an overtake, and then got a 10-place grid penalty. Now he's done it again, where he sped up under green flag conditions, and under red flag conditions, and has got himself a 10-second time penalty, a 10-place grid penalty. Like, it's you would have thought they would have learned from his mistake the first time and just driven around super slowly, but no, he exceeded 260 kilometers per hour on the exit of Stowe, which is after where Bortoletto crashed. So Bearman obviously in his head is just like, oh, this is a safe part of the circuit, it's fine. Bortoletto crashed about 3 corners ago, so I can drive at normal speed, but. No, obviously the rules are rules. Under red flag conditions, you're not allowed to drive quickly. And Bearman sped up, also ended up crashing the car, and then into the pits he went. I reckon if he didn't crash the car, the FIA wouldn't have noticed, and it would have just been, and he would have got away with it. But because he crashed the car, it was like, well, Ollie, like, what were you doing there, mate? Bortoletto broke his suspension. Is it an easy repair for quali? It is. The drivers break the suspension pretty often, so it's no sort of issue there to get that resolved in time for quali. So he should be good to go. No sort of issues on that front. I don't think he noticed the red flag. I mean, maybe he didn't, but regardless, there's a lot of panel markers, there's a lot of track marshals waving around the red flag, so it's sort of his own fault if he wasn't paying attention, because all of the other drivers managed to pay attention. I'm pretty sure on the steering wheel as well. They have things popping up basically telling him, oh, it's red flag conditions, don't drive too quickly. Yet somehow he managed to ignore all of those and still drive too quickly. So, yeah, not great there from Ollie Bearman, not great whatsoever. All right, finally got all of this sorted out now. I was messing around with the layout slightly before the start of the stream and then realized that, no, I totally messed it up. So it's going to continue on this way. Okay, do you think Charles will get a podium tomorrow? Well, I can tell you one thing. I think one of the Ferraris is going to get a podium. They've got some fantastic pace this weekend, and they are looking supremely quick. So they're in for a shot at pole. They're in for a shot of a win. So are the McLarens. So is potentially Max Verstappen. That car looks really improved overnight. That car was terrible yesterday, and I mean absolutely terrible. And overnight, the team have put in a fantastic job. And, Max Verstappen has a real shot at pole position. Same thing could be said for George Russell with the track conditions. As you can see on the screen there, 24 degrees track temperature over here. And yeah, that's really, really going to suit the Mercs. So that should help them out. But it's, I guess we'll just see really what happens. Anyone's game for pole position. Lando Norris could get pole. Of course, there's a lot of drivers who's their home race. It's Bearman's home race. Russell, Hamilton, Norris. They'll all be looking to do well for their fans that have come to visit them. But I guess we shall see who's going to end up on pole position. Okay, hi F1 Gamer with Emilia Romagna out and Madrid in for 2026. What are your thoughts about them? I think the 2026 calendars are pretty good. Like, yes, there are some races that we really probably shouldn't be going to. The racing there isn't amazing, but on the whole, I think it's a pretty good calendar. They spread stuff out. They've got like countries that are close together, racing close together in the calendar. So that means there isn't too much traveling for the engineers and the mechanics, which is a good thing. And yeah, I'd say overall it's all right. Of course, it could be much better. You could have Malaysia, you could have the Nürburgring, the Hockenheim Ring, Magny Cours, and the racetrack in South Korea, the one in India. Like, there are so many more options, but as of now, I'd say it's okay. Okay, what else have we got going on then? 20 minutes till the start of qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. Not too long till we get underway. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that as well. Oh my goodness me, there are a lot of messages coming through. We've got 3,000 people tuned into the live stream. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm going to do my best to keep up with these messages. As a summary of what else happened in the free practice sessions, there wasn't all that much exciting things that were going on. The only real big crash that we saw was from Bortoletto. We did have 2 or 3 spins, actually no, 4 spins throughout the practice sessions. We had one from Bortoletto on the exit of Cops. The car bottomed out. He lost grip and did a 360 off into the gravel, but managed to keep it out of the barriers. Gasly did a very similar thing, but Gasly stayed on the road. We had a spin from Carlos Sainz on the exit of Luffield, just getting onto the power, and also we saw Sainz actually go wide at Cops a couple times, but you know, he's worked out those issues, ended up in 12th position at the end of FP3, and we had one more spin from Lance Stroll. He just got on the power way too early at turn number 3 and ended up facing the wrong direction. All right. Do you think the Indian Grand Prix should return AK the place where Vettel dominated your favourite driver? I mean, you know, it'd be great. Vettel's obviously got the stat that he's won every single Indian Grand Prix, which I think is still a great stat. But I'm sure someone else can take it and it would be all right. All right, I'll take you through a lap of the circuit here, ladies and gentlemen, so you guys can get an idea of what to look out for on this circuit. So you are heading through the final 2 corners here, just through Vale and Club Corner, where Bearman currently is on the track map, and you make your way out onto the Hamilton Straight here, named after Hamilton, who's of course got 9 wins at this circuit, which is incredible. You go through turn number 1, it's flat in these cars, easy flat, even in the race as well, but the drivers just aim to minimize steering angle as much as they possibly can. Now, through this part of the circuit, there is a tailwind. For the majority of this, of free practice 3, free practice 1, free practice 2, all of these sessions have had tailwinds going through this corner. That means the drivers have a lot less grip, and that's part of the reason why Lance Stroll actually spun at this corner. So the drivers have a tailwind. They have to brake slightly earlier. They have to take a lower entry speed so they can actually have enough grip to go through the corner. Then this part of the circuit, entering into the loop, you're turning the car and also getting onto the power. It's very, very easy to lose the car, as I just do on this flying lap. Then you're going towards the loop. Now just the main thing, hit this apex and get a smooth exit onto the next straight, the Wellington Straight, second longest straight on the circuit, and it's got a DRS zone to go with it as well. So just hit this inside apex, open the DRS flap as early as possible. Now into Brooklyn, what you have got is a crosswind. So if the drivers had a headwind, they could brake super late. Pretty much all of the drivers brake after the 50-meter mark anyway. What you do is you shift your brake balance rearward, and then you brake after the 50-meter mark and carry your brakes into the corner. You're just reducing speed as you go into the corner because the corner tightens up more and more. So you can, as long as you're trail braking into the corner, you can still make it around while still braking after 50 meters. Now for Luffield, what you do, you hit this first apex, then you drift out wide, then you cut back in for the second apex, and then straight line the exit. Straight line as much as possible and get all of the power down and hug the inside line as you go down the old pit straight. Now towards Cops Corner, where you are coming in at 300 kilometers per hour. That's approximately, I think that's what, 185 miles per hour or something. The drivers have around 5 tons, well, the cars have around 5 tons of downforce squeezing down onto the suspension here, and the suspension has to be extremely stiff. The drivers make it through here, 5G of lateral loading. Now into Maggots and Beckett's, the fastest corners of the entire circuit. Flick to the left, flick to the right. You're both flat through the first one. Then off the brakes. The engine braking really does slow you down through this part of the circuit. The drivers turn up the engine braking specifically for these corners, so they don't have to touch the brakes, because touching the brakes unsettles the car, sort of jerks it forwards or backwards. And the engine braking can smoothly reduce the speed. The drivers shift down into 6th gear and then get a smooth exit out of Chapel onto the hangar straight, where you've got another DRS zone. Mark Vruha, thanks for the $2 donation, very much is appreciated, buddy. Then you come down the hangar straight here. You've got a speed trap at the end of the straight. You can gain 1.5 tenths of a second by slipstreaming the driver ahead of you if you're on a quali lap. So that's pretty handy and pretty helpful to remember. Some drivers may try and set up a tow. I'm certain if Tsunoda makes it through into Q3, Max Verstappen will be getting a tow off him. And you know, you make your way down through through Stowe, through this corner, even here on the cockpit cam, where you're on top of the drivers, you still can't see the exit of the corner. When you're sat even lower down, you definitely can't see the exit. The drivers just have to go based off memory, try to make this corner. On this occasion, I couldn't make it within track limits, but most drivers have been making it within track limits. The curbs are pretty violent on the exit of Stowe, so yeah, the drivers, it's in their best interest to actually stay within track limits. Now going into Vale, the most important thing is you shift your brake balance forward, brake perfectly in a straight line, then get the rotation done early in the corner, so then you can get onto the power, short shift through here, up through third and fourth gear, and straight line, and just, yeah, straight to the exit, straight to the start-finish line, and that is a lap of Silverstone, ladies and gentlemen. It's quite a technical lap. The wind plays a huge factor. As you can see, at the end of FP3, we had winds of 16.6 kilometers per hour, very, very gusty, and it was gusting up to, in fact, 25 kilometers per hour. The Formula 1 cars are very, very sensitive to the wind. The Red Bull especially so, but Verstappen was able to keep it under control today after some setup tweaks overnight. All right. Let's see, let's have a read of the chat. What do you think about Mercedes not renewing Russell's contract surrounding the talks of Max? I think that Toto Wolff is genuinely trying to get Max Verstappen in. The reason why he's not replacing Kimi Antonelli rather than, he's replacing George Russell instead, is that they don't want a Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton situation where both drivers are performing at the top of their game, both of them going for the championship, because, it really took a big toll on the Mercedes team in those couple of years, and they don't want that sort of pressure, that toxic environment. Maybe it wasn't even a toxic environment, but it's just a lot of pressure to deal with, and essentially, they want a lead driver, and then they want Kimi Antonelli to sort of learn from the expertise of Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen certainly knows a couple of tricks here and there, and they want Antonelli to learn from him and to become a better driver. Okay, what else have we got going on then? F1 Gamer, can you wish me a happy birthday? Sure, Drift Funk. Broken at Ferrari. Well, we'll see. Lewis Hamilton, past couple for the majority of the season, hasn't been doing so well against Charles Leclerc, but this is his best circuit. There's no doubt about it. And if there's one circuit where Hamilton's going to get a podium or get pole position or get a win, it's going to be Silverstone. And you have got an immovable object versus an unstoppable force. Hamilton being the unstoppable force, Ferrari being the immovable object. We'll see how it works out for the race tomorrow. But for qualifying, it's all just going to be down to Lewis Hamilton. If he can hook together a perfect lap, then pole position will most certainly be his. All right, let's have a look at the Constructors' Championship, the Drivers' Championship. So here in the Constructors, we have got McLaren 417 points, way out in the distance. Not even a battle, really. It is quite certain that they have got that first place sealed and dealed in the Constructors. We have got Ferrari in second with 210, Mercedes in third with 209. 1 point separates the two teams, and both of them are going to be gunning to get that second place. It's a significant chunk of prize money. I think it's around 10 million euros, or what must that be, like also $10 million or something. Like it's a lot of money that the teams will get for finishing up in second rather than in third place, and we might see one extra upgrade package from the Ferrari team or one extra upgrade package from the Mercedes team to try and pip the other team to the second place in the Constructors. We'll just have to wait and see. Okay. Wait, rain. Let's talk about the rain, okay? There is 20% chance of rain forecast currently. Charles Leclerc said there were a couple of drops of rain at turn number 9 during FP3, but apart from that, there has been no reports whatsoever of rain. The big thing, though, tomorrow's the big one. We could potentially have rain on the race tomorrow, because basically what the forecast is saying is that at 11 a.m., which is 4 hours before the start of the race, we will have rain falling. A 70% chance of rain falling 4 hours before the race, and then like at the actual start time of the race, that goes to 20%. So 70% drops to 20, but we could still have a wet track at the start of the race, which definitely make things interesting. And of course, with the circuit drying up, that'll make it a lot harder for the drivers to overtake. That'll make it a lot easier to spin off, and it can bring all sorts of chaos into the circuit. So that is the current forecast as of now. I'm from the UK. I know what the British weather is like. It's very, very unpredictable. I really have no idea what's going to happen. I'll check the forecast tomorrow morning, and that's going to be the most accurate one. Yeah. Okay. F1 Gamer, as a student studying engineering, should I aim to try and get into a Formula One being a race engineer? I mean, why not? You know, race engineer is pretty cool. You get to fly around the world, talk to the best drivers in the world, and see what they're made of, really. So that would be pretty awesome. Do you think Max has a good chance at the championship? Well, let's have a look then. So if we look at the Constructors' Championship, let's get rid of that. We'll look at the drivers. So Piastri in first place with 216 points. We've got Norris in second place with 201 points. And then we've got Verstappen back in 155. So that points difference is 50 points or 60 points, shall we say, 61 points to Piastri. That is a huge, huge margin to close up. But let's not pretend that in the second half of the season, a driver has not extended their lead by 61 points or has not gained 61 points in the second half of the season. It is most definitely possible for that to happen. But for that to happen, it's possible for that to happen. But like, if it was to actually become a reality, what would we need to see? We need to see the Red Bull become drivable, which seems unlikely because since 2023 they've had an undrivable car. We would have to see McLaren have a downfall, which is a bit unlikely considering the crazy amount of progress that they've had in the past couple of races to get this much more performance. And yeah, so you're looking at two sort of unlikely things need to happen for Verstappen to contest in the championship. So it's up to you guys really to decide. I can't tell you. I don't have a crystal ball looking into the future. But I would personally say the chances are pretty slim of both of those things happening. McLaren having a downfall and Red Bull's car suddenly being a lot more drivable. Yeah. F1 Gamer, did you notice we don't have a single month without F1 until 2027? I'm pretty sure we do have a single month without Formula 1 in 2027. In July, sorry, not July, in January 2026, there's no Formula 1. I think, or maybe there's a test right at the end of January, I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay. Why are the Racing Bulls so quick? Well, okay, Racing Bulls were really quick yesterday. I think they were a little bit exceptionally quick yesterday, and it's not particularly realistic of what they're going to do in race conditions or in quali conditions. But they are definitely up there, and I'd say that what happened, the difference between yesterday and today, is that all of the other teams dialed in their setups. The Red Bull was looking terrible yesterday. They dialed in the setup. They got things working as they wanted to. And then we can see the progress that the Red Bull team has made. And that's why the Racing Bulls look relatively slower, because Friday they hit the ground running with a good setup, and that's why they looked exceptionally quick. Now, come Saturday, everyone has fixed up their setup, sorted everything, sorted out all of the issues, and then Racing Bulls look slightly slower. Okay, I'll quickly take you through the circuit and on the circuit map here. This green dot here is the DRS detection point for the Wellington Straight. This red line here is the end of Sector 1, start of Sector 2. So Sector 2 all the way down here. You've got a DRS detection point before Maggots and Beckett's, which I think is a really good job from the FIA to do it before Maggots and Beckett's, because what that means is even if the drivers do get affected by the dirty air in Maggots and Beckett's, which they will, because it's a very high-speed corner, and the higher speed corner, the quicker the corner, the bigger the effect you get from dirty air. So even if you're within 1 second before Maggots and Beckett's, you'll still be able to get DRS down the Hanger Straight, which should help the drivers stay close. You've got another start line for the end of Sector 2, start of Sector 3. This is again a DRS zone down the Hanger Straight. This purple dot here is the speed trap. So all of the speed traps that are being measured at the bottom of the screen, that is those are That's where they're being measured from, and then of course you've just got the final sector. And I must point out the final sector has only got 3 corners. It's got Stowe, it's got Vale, and it's got Club. Those are the 3 corners that you've got here in the final sector, and we've seen drivers lose 0.2 of a second, 0.3 of a second just in the final sector alone. It is extremely tricky to get everything right, especially at the end of your lap. The tyres do tend to overheat a lot around Silverstone. You know, it's a very high-speed circuit. The tyres wear out pretty quick. Tomorrow we will be getting a 2-stop race as well. This weekend, Pirelli have brought a step softer compounds to the race, which means that they're going to wear out quicker, we're going to have more pit stops, and it's always going to be more action. So a lot to look forward to for tomorrow's race. Folks, if you haven't hit the like button, please be sure to do so. It really does help out the channel. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, be sure to do that. We are now 4 minutes away from the start of Q1, and we'll have 18 minutes of Q1, 15 minutes of Q2, and 12 minutes of Q3. Just as a reference point, last year's pole time was a 1 minute 25.8. We did see this time beaten in the FB3 session itself, so the drivers are going significantly quicker, especially helped by the softer rubber and also the softer rubber and also the cooler track conditions. Both things contributing and helping out the drivers drive faster. All right. Weather update, it is totally dry out in Silverstone. There's not much to worry about. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's about it really. 3 minutes 50 seconds left to go. Folks, do let me know what your predictions are. But here we are, round number 12 of the Formula 1 season. Round number 12 of 24. The halfway point of the season is upon us. We're here at Silverstone, 5.8 kilometers of racing, only 11 meters of elevation gain. The quickest speed ever recorded here, the quickest lap ever recorded here, was done by Max Verstappen. The quickest race lap ever recorded was done by Max Verstappen, a 1:27.0 in 2020. We'll be getting quicker laps than that for certain because we'll be in qualifying spec today. And the wind has died down a little bit, 13.7 kilometers per hour. However, the big thing, track temperature, it's just popped off the screen here, but it's 25.3 degrees Celsius, which means the Mercedes will be in fighting spirit, fighting action, and the conditions suit them. They also suit the McLarens less. The cooler it is, the slower McLarens are. The cooler it is, the quicker Mercedes are. So it is game on, ladies and gentlemen, for qualifying. It is super duper cloudy out in Silverstone. There's no sight of the sun, which is very, very typical of the UK. And that just means that the temperatures are going to stay cold, and we've got a fantastic fight on for pole position. Yeah. All right. Here we go then. I would like to point out Oliver Bearman has got a 10-place grid penalty for exceeding the speed limit under red flags. You may remember, you may be getting a little bit of deja vu. Oliver Bearman did this in Monaco as well. He overtook a driver in red flag conditions and got a 10-place grid penalty because in Monaco he has now done the same thing again, this time just driving too quickly rather than overtaking a driver, and has got handed a 10-place grid penalty. Not ideal to say the least for Ollie Bearman, and yeah, it looks like he's just going to be starting dead last. The Haas seems to have a bit of performance at the end of FP3. He might be able to scrape it through into Q3, but even with that, he'll start up in 8th, he'll qualify in 8th and then start the race in 18th. Not a great showing for Ollie Bearman. Okay, what are my predictions? I predict that the top three positions will be held by 3 different drivers. Obviously, it's 3 different drivers. It's 3 different teams, and it will be all within, the top 5 will be within a 1/10 of a second. I think it's really going to be super close today in quali. Anyone can take it. Hamilton, Leclerc, Piastri, Norris, Verstappen, Russell, anyone could get pole position. So let's wait and see. All right, we got 9,000 people tuned into the live stream. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button, folks. We're about to get underway for qualifying. 50 seconds left on the clock. We'll have the drivers exiting the pit lane very, very soon. And then we'll be getting onto the first quali session. 20 cars on track, but it's quite a long circuit, so traffic shouldn't be an issue. The big other thing, though, the Mercedes have been struggling with their tyre warm-up, and a lot of drivers actually have been struggling with getting their tyres up to temperature in the first sector, because by the end of the lap, your tyres will have overheated, and it's pretty difficult to manage. But if your tyres are cool going into sector number 1, your brakes are slightly cool, it's easy to lock up, it's easy to... it's easy to miss your braking point, go wide, spin. There's loads of different things that can happen if your tyres aren't up in this correct temperature window. So the drivers, hopefully, and the teams will have worked out the ideal warm-up strategy for the tyres. And then once they've done that, we'll be ready to go qualifying. But there we are, 6 seconds left on the clock. And the green light at the end of the pit lane should be arriving momentarily. And as you can see, we've got Bortoletto out onto the track. First, of course, he'll be coming out onto the track to check if his suspension is working properly. He had his issue at the end of FP3, crashed the car into the barriers. The team has done a fantastic job repairing the suspension in the lunch break. I'm sure they probably had to skip lunch to get that suspension repaired, but it is repaired now, and Bortoletto is out onto the circuit, and so is Nico Hülkenberg, out on a fresh set of soft tyres to start out Q1. Here we go. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. We're in for a wild ride for qualifying here in Silverstone. Okay. Stroll makes his way out onto the circuit. We've got the 2 Alpines coming out as well. We've got the radio messages coming through. That is good to see. And... yeah, just a normal outlap as Gasly's just been instructed there to get everything ready to go. To get all the tyres up into the correct window, get the brakes into the correct window, and get ready to go racing. Okay, a weather report. It is dry, it is cloudy, and it is cold. It is also very, very windy, 15 kilometers per hour wind, and I'd like to let you guys know, so the drivers do have a tailwind in this part of the circuit. So when they go, the wind is blowing from this direction of my mouse cursor, so it's blowing from the right-hand side of the screen upwards towards the top left, so blowing from the bottom right to the top left, and it gives the drivers a tailwind through turn number 3, and it gives them a headwind into Brooklyn, and it also gives them a headwind into Stowe. So the drivers will take that into account, especially the top best drivers looking to extract every inch of performance that they can. They'll be using this information, braking ever so slightly earlier going into turn number 3 here. They'll be braking ever so slightly later going into Brooklyn, going into Stowe, and trying to, push that car to the limits and beyond. Track temperature is 25 degrees Celsius. It's just here on the bottom right of the screen. It keeps popping on and off the screen, but 25.5 degrees is the track temperature. All right. Yeah, here we go then. So we're going to get some quick laps here from Bortoletto and Hülkenberg. Through the speed trap, we'll be expecting speeds of 320 kilometers per hour. The McLarens were doing 313 in FP3, but I suspect they hadn't turned the engine mode up fully, so we'll see what they do in quali today. And yeah, this is going to be a great session, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, for whatever reason, this is slightly off the screen. There we go. It's onto the screen a little bit, fits onto the screen a little bit better. Nice. All right, then we have got Alex Albon starting a lap, and a couple more drivers making their way out onto the circuit. 15 minutes remain of the session, and yeah, right, let's see. Bortoletto, first driver to come across the line. What's the lap time going to be? A 1:27.4 from Gabriel Bortoletto. Nice lap there from him. Let's see what his teammate Nico Hülkenberg can do behind him. Oh, we've got a replay here of Nico Hülkenberg, and looks like he made a little mistake when he was starting his flying lap, lost a bit of time, and Only 2 milliseconds back though. On the start into turn number 3, so on the run into the start finish straight, Hulkenberg lost the rear end. The car snapped about a little bit, and he ended up with a lap that was only 2 milliseconds slower than Bortoletto, so not too shabby from Nico Hulkenberg. We've got Stroll, who momentarily was up in first. Now Gasly goes 3/10 quicker than him, and Colapinto now across the line, who goes half a tenth quicker than his teammate Pierre Gasly. I've got to say, a pretty good job from Colapinto as well, stepping into the team on very short notice, and he's now delivering some pretty solid performances. Alex Albon, though, here to spoil everyone's fun. Purple in the first sector, purple in the second sector, and he is looking really good in the final sector as well. Comes through the final corner now. What is it going to be for Alex Albon? First position by 0.6 of a second. Williams are back, ladies and gentlemen. I'd love to see a double Q3 appearance for the Williams duo. They had a double DNF last weekend out in Austria. Hopefully their luck is a little bit better this weekend. Okay. Here we go. Verstappen's on a flyer, and look at that, purple mini sectors to start off the lap. He's got a little bit of traffic ahead of him in the form of Ocon, but he gets out of the way nicely, and now he goes onto the Wellington Straight. What's it going to be for Max Verstappen? He's got the DRS flap open for that one, and the car looks like it's on rails, a lot better than it did yesterday, and very similar to what it was in FP3. Purple through the first sector, and he goes only 20 milliseconds quicker than Antonelli, a tenth or so quicker than Albon. Antonelli, though, he's looking really good through the first sector as well. What's Norris doing? Norris is ever so slightly slower, actually. He splits Verstappen and Antonelli. Then we have Verstappen. Does Albon get out of the way nicely? I think he does, through Magnussen and Beckett's. Good job there from Albon. And look at these purple mini sectors from Max Verstappen. I mean, he is setting the timing sheet alight. He is a man on a mission, and he does not want to lose this championship. So he is pushing right from the get-go. Purple in the middle sector. Let's see what Antonelli and Norris can do behind him. Antonelli not so quick in the middle sector. Norris also not so quick. Verstappen 3/10 quicker than Norris in the middle sector. That is ridiculous. Here he comes across the line. Surely he's going to go quick. Yeah, half a second, 3/4 of a second, 3/10 quicker than Alex Albon. Antonelli improves, third place for him. Albon, a seriously good lap. If Verstappen can only go 3/10 quicker. Here comes Norris. What's it going to be? Norris just pips ahead of Alex Albon, but I must say, Albon only 2/10 off the back of Lando Norris's first lap. Pretty sensational. Norris gained 0.2 of a second on Max Verstappen in the final sector there, and Verstappen's final sector was not that great. Maybe his tyres were a little bit too hot. Maybe he made a mistake, but the final sector needs a little bit of work in that Red Bull. All right, Charles Leclerc up into third position, and he pips Alex Albon. Great lap there from Leclerc. Let's see what Hamilton can do. He's on a flying lap now, just making his way through Club. Oh, I think he made a mistake, actually. I'm not 100% certain. Piastri tops the times, 37 milliseconds quicker than Verstappen, and Hamilton definitely didn't make that big of a mistake because he is up into fourth. Alonso, oh my goodness me, third position for Fernando Alonso. What a lap. The Aston Martins were nowhere for the entirety of practice, and here he comes 1/10 back from Oscar Piastri. Fernando Alonso, take a bow. It's only Q1, and Sainz has just gone purple in the first sector, but this qualifying session cannot get any more exciting, and there's still an entire hour left, really. Oh my goodness me. Hadjar across the line, 7th position for him. We've got a Racing Bull splitting the two Ferraris, and look at the gap as well. Top 6 cars within 0.3 of a second, absolutely huge. Bearman goes up into 8th. We've got 8 in the top 8. We have got 7 different teams. Incredible to see. Ocon goes up into 13th place. Now we've got Carlos Sainz. He was amazing in the first sector, pretty good in the middle sector. Final sector let him down, unfortunately, losing 0.4 of a second in the final sector to some of the quicker drivers, and he stays down in 11th position. The final sector catching a lot of people out. You know, at that point, your tyres are really cooked, and because of that, making a mistake is super duper easy. Yuki Tsunoda's on a flying lap. Let's see how far back from Max Verstappen he's going to be. He comes out of the final corner, and just across the line now, Yuki Tsunoda, last driver to set a time, 14th position, and he is 0.6 back from Max Verstappen, which is the gap that we've come to expect, 0.6 of a second. I must say, Look at this, from first position down to 14th position. The gap is only 0.6 of a second, and this is one of the longer circuits on the calendar as well. It's 5.9 kilometers long, and still the gap is only 0.6 of a second between the driver in first position, the driver in 14th. They're all on fresh tyres. It's not like the quicker drivers are using used tyres and the slower drivers are using fresh tyres. Everyone equal tyres, equal track conditions, and the gap's only 0.6 of a second. F1 Gamer Sector 3 fastest times are hidden. Oh, I think they're slightly cut off from the screen. Oh, yeah, let me get that sorted. Apologies for that one. Oh, I know what it is. I zoomed in one extra level. Let me just zoom out. There we go, and then I'll just adjust everything accordingly so everything fits on the screen nicely. Give me just a sec, folks. I was playing around with some of these settings and some of the zoom levels before the start of the stream. Okay, there we go, and this also gets cropped in. And now let's just extend that out. Very nice. Thank you for letting me know, folks. All right. Here we go then. 7 minutes left on the clock. Colapinto quickest down the speed trap. 325 kilometers per hour for Colapinto down the speed trap. He's driving extremely slowly and he's gone off into the gravel. Is that damage to his car? The rear wing is vibrating away. I think Colapinto made a mistake coming through the final corner. We've just got a replay here. He was going into Vale and Club. Super late on the brakes for Vale. Hits that apex nicely. Then onto Club corner. I don't think he short shifted. Yeah, the best way to get through Club corner, short shift to avoid wheel spin. He didn't. He did it. He had a spin off into the barriers. The car, though, under control and no significant damage to him. The car, you know, he may have lost a bit of floor pieces here and there, but Colapinto had a spin. Let me just show you which part of the circuit he had a spin at. Yeah, so just coming through here, he hit this first apex nicely, hit the second apex nicely, then off onto the curb. I'm missing the curb here. I've just got my left wheel touching the curb. Colapinto was all over this curb, spun on the curb, and then has also caused a red flag. Okay, right, well, the time has paused. Everyone's going to come back into the pits. No one was on a flying lap regardless, so not too many drivers' laps are ruined. But yeah, Colapinto spun on this curb and then went off into the gravel trap on the left-hand side, brought a bunch of gravel onto the circuit, and we have a red flag in Q1, yeah, to just clear up all of the gravel, and that's what's happened there. No serious damage to his car. He's managed to drive back, I think. Oh no, he's hopped out the car and I think they're going to take a look at it. Yeah, he's had to stop on the side of the road and that's why they've brought the red flag out, because Colapinto hasn't made it back to the pits. Too much damage to his car. He must have just vibrated his car to pieces, and that is why we've got a red flag deployed. They're going to have to get a tractor out to Colapinto, pick him up, and then we'll go qualifying very, very soon. F1 Gamer resolution on the phone is bad. That's because YouTube turns the settings down. If you go onto the settings icon and turn the quality up to the maximum quality, then you'll be able to see it. YouTube, for whatever reason, turns the quality down. Okay, we've got 22,000 people watching this live stream here on YouTube. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Very much is appreciated. Be sure to hit the like button as well. It really does help out the channel. Really helps out the YouTube algorithm as well. All of the support we can get is much, much appreciated. And yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. And we've got a red flag for now, but I'm gonna put a timer up very soon. Once race control lets us know when the session's restarting, I'll have a timer up and we shall get going very, very soon. It will probably be another 4 minutes or so. So I'll just stick a timer up for 4 minutes for now, and then we'll go from there. Okay. What happened to Yuki's first aborted flying lap? I'm not actually sure. He did have to abort a flying lap for whatever reason. He must have made a mistake or something. But on his second one, he was on a used set of tyres, so that must have slowed him down a little bit. But albeit he was still 0.6 back from Max Verstappen. How did Ollie Bearman get his penalty? Ollie Bearman, I'll show you on the onboard lap. Let me just pull it up. All right, so Ollie Bearman driving around the circuit here. Red flag. So at this point in the lap, Bortoletto, who had crashed and caused the red flag, was behind him. The red flag was out, and Bearman was driving along at full speed here. The exit of turn. So I'm on a flying lap on this lap, right? And I'm exiting turns number 15, turn Stowe essentially, at around 300 kilometers per hour or 250. Sorry, yeah, 250 kilometers per hour. If you can read there, 259 kilometers per hour. Oliver Bearman was doing the exact same speed, the speed that you would be doing on a hot lap. Bearman was doing that under red flag conditions, and then he went into the pit lane, locked up the rears, crashed into the barriers, and broke his front wing. So Bearman got a penalty for driving too quickly under the red flag, and then obviously he put it into the barriers, which was not ideal to say the least. Okay. That's why he's got a 10-place grid penalty. He did the same thing in Monaco, and now same thing again. So yeah, just not great really from Bearman. I would have expected him to learn from mistakes. As a rookie, you're expected to make mistakes. It's not really surprising if you do, but learning from mistakes is pretty key, and Oliver Bearman did not do that. Okay, can you talk about how the weather is affecting each turn? Okay, well, the weather is mainly sort of just affecting the corners in terms of the wind. The track temperatures is equal throughout, but the drivers have a tailwind going through into turn number 3 here. They also have a kind of a tailwind going through Club, which won't have helped Colapinto. This might have been part of the reason why he spun at this corner. The drivers have a headwind into Brooklyn, and a headwind into the late apex of Brooklyn, and then the entry into Luffield. They've got a headwind, then they've got tailwind on the exit. So the wind is blowing from the bottom right to the top left, and any circuit, through Cops, they're just going to have a sort of a crosswind, screwing up their downforce levels, but the cars have more than enough downforce to make it through Cops flat regardless. And then going through Stowe specifically, they're going to have a headwind, and that's going to give them a lot more downforce. They can push with a lot more confidence and still stay within track limits. Okay. Exotic, thank you, my dude. I'm hoping F1 Gamer stays streaming for years to come. I can stay. Yeah, well, hopefully I do stay streaming for years to come. It'd be pretty cool. Channel's doing pretty well as well. So thanks everyone for tuning in. We've got 20,000 people tuned in. I mean, that's wild. And we've got a red flag. So you're essentially just listening to the F1 Gamer podcast. It looks like QUALI's been delayed a little bit more. That timer that I set for 4 minutes was slightly ambitious. It's probably going to happen in the next 2 minutes or so. But yeah, as we know, the FIA tend to take their time with these kind of things. I don't know why, but they're just particularly slow. The red flag is for Colapinto. He was parked up on the side of the circuit, and they had to get a tractor out to take him back to the pits. There was a bit of gravel on the track as well, so they had to clear that up. So pick up Colapinto, clear up some gravel, and we should go racing. All right, Berg, thanks for joining the channel, member. Berg very much is appreciated. And F1 Gamer, can you remove the voice profile? To be honest, I kind of have to keep it there. Otherwise, sometimes when I didn't have it there before, very often I would have my mic. I'd have my mic sort of muted by accident, because I have a button on my mic to mute and unmute. And if it's not there, then I sometimes miss the fact that I'm actually muted my mic. I can make it smaller. I can make it, let's say, 50 pixels rather than 150 pixels, and that way it looks a lot smaller, but I can still see it. So I think that should suffice. There we go. Yeah, it's just there on the bottom right of the screen. Maybe a little bit bigger, but yeah, the reason it's there is so I don't have my mic accidentally muted while I'm streaming, because that's happened a little bit too many times. Yeah. John Farrer, thanks for the $5 donation. Very much is appreciated, buddy. And yeah, thanks for playing out the channel. I'm doing my best to block all of the adverts here from YouTube, to make sure that you guys don't get any adverts when the stream is underway. And oh, we've just got a message from Race Control here. Session is restarting in 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Okay, thanks for bearing with me, folks. Official message from Race Control, session restarting in 2 minutes 30 seconds. yeah, but I'm doing my best here, so you guys don't get any adverts on the stream, and very much be appreciated. All the donations, all the channel memberships, really do help out the channel. And one other thing that I just do have to mention, because I'm sponsored by Surfshark VPN. If you guys do want to watch Formula One for $2 a month, what you can do, get Surfshark VPN for only $2 a month. Then you join an Austrian VPN server. You go onto Google, you search Service TV. And once you've done that, you make an account, log in, you can watch Formula One for free. The only thing you have to pay for is Surfshark VPN. So if you guys are interested, check that out. We've got around 400, 500 people using it on the channel right now, so it definitely does work. If for whatever reason it doesn't work, you can always get a refund. And the other thing I have to mention, it is German commentary. So if you don't understand German, you just mute it, you listen to me instead, but you still get to watch the footage. So I'd say it's a pretty big win. All right, thanks for listening to that. I'm not going to mention it too many more times. Rudolph Grasspointer, €5 donation. Thank you very much. I like your accent better than the American. Well, thank you very much. I guess I've sort of got a British accent. I mean, I don't really notice it because everyone else that I talk to also has a British accent, but yeah, do I have a nice accent? Maybe I do. Also, folks, if you are watching this footage over on TikTok, this content has been stolen. The person that is streaming on TikTok is basically just taken someone's content off YouTube, and that person being F1 Gamer, me. So if you guys would want to watch the original content creator and not just, some random person on TikTok who's stealing content, if you could come over to YouTube, search F1 Gamer. I'm the first live stream on YouTube that will pop up, and you can watch all of the coverage with 20,000 fans rather than, I'm presuming, the 500 that are watching this TikTok stream. So that would very much be appreciated, and yeah, just supports the channel, and doesn't support the people that are stealing my content and potentially making some money off it. Okay, so here we go then. 30 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, where the session will resume with 6 minutes left on the clock. It's unlikely the drivers will be able to get 2 runs done, so we're most likely going to see the drivers sat in the pit lane. Once they're sat in the pits, they're going to wait around till about the 3-minute timer on the clock, and then they're going to go out onto the circuit to just wait for the most optimal conditions. We may see a couple of cars go out right at the start, but it's unlikely that in a 6-minute time frame or a 7-minute time frame that you're going to be able to do 2 hot laps. So most drivers are just going to sit in the pits. All right. Red Bull have done a miracle. Indeed, they have. I've got to say a huge shout out to the Red Bull mechanics, Red Bull engineers that worked overnight, the test drivers that they had working overnight to fix the setup on this car, because it was horrendous yesterday. Absolutely terrible. And somehow they have managed to turn it all around. Sonoda's also able to... Wait, do I see raindrops? I see raindrops, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We have got rain here in Silverstone. I see raindrops on the camera. It's raining. Let's go. All right. It's time to... Oh my god. Wet qualifying in Silverstone. You cannot ask for anything better. The qualifying session was already going to be this close. I see raindrops on the track. The wind is still blowing at 14, 15 kilometers per hour. And... let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Woohoo! All right. Yeah, Piastri comes over the radio. Some drops in the pit lane. Seems like it's worse than before. We've got rain and... incredible. Okay. So... we are about to get a very, very exciting Silverstone qualifying session. In fact, it might be a Silverstone classic from, 10 years down the line. We're going to be thinking back, 2025 Silverstone quali was so good. And, yeah, with potentially 6 drivers who could get pole position, and now the rain has begun to fall, you cannot ask for anything better. Okay, here we go then. Everyone should be rushing out the pit lane now. With rain falling and the track getting damper and damper, you don't want to be sat in the pits. So Colapinto and Gasly probably want to head out onto the circuit right now. Well, Colapinto can't because he's eliminated from the session. Gasly, though, does want to get out as soon as he can because... yeah, he's currently in 20th position, and ideally he wants to get through into Q2. We could have some surprise eliminations here. Some drivers could get caught out by the rain. Some drivers could mess up their laps, have a spin, lock up. Loads of different possibilities now, with the track getting damper and damper as we speak. Okay, so here we go then. Lando Norris is currently starting his flying lap. Piastri's on a flying lap right now. Piastri currently top of the times. We'll see if the drivers are improving. That is the big thing. If the rain has already begun to fall, that could mean the circuit is already slower than before. Piastri's had to back out of his lap. It looks like he got traffic on, he got traffic on his first flying lap. Albon, though, still improving. So the circuit has got a little bit more, maybe it's retaining a little bit of pace, but Hamilton comes over the radio. He says the track surface is not the same, definitely more slippery. Whereas Hamilton on the grid right now, he's currently in 6th position. That should be good to make it through into Q2. Albon, though, does improve in the first sector. A lot of other drivers, not so much. They're losing time in the first sector, so currently, what we could see, the drivers that are currently in the bottom 5 stay in the bottom 5, even if they hook together sensational laps. Let's keep an eye out, though. Bortoleto improves, so does Hulkenberg, and Gasly still sat in the pits. I don't know what you're doing, Pierre Gasly. The rain started to fall. You've got to get out ASAP. Hadjar and Lawson make their way out onto the circuit, and let's keep an eye out on Alex Albon. Albon's still half a tenth up. He improves wait, is Albon up on Piastri's time? Let's have a look. Alex Albon, 34.6 through the first sector. I don't know if Alex Albon's up on Piastri's time or he's just had a really good lap. I think he's better than his personal best. Albon, 3rd position. He was up on Piastri's time. Incredible scenes from Alex Albon. What a lap. And the rain has started to fall, but he's still only a tenth back from Oscar Piastri. Oh my goodness me. Norris improves, stays in 5th position, though. Purple final sector. The McLarens have so much pace in the final sector. Hulkenberg improves up into 14th position. What can his teammate Gabriel Bortoleto do? Tsunoda is also improving. A lot of drivers in the bottom 5 are improving. Bortoleto up into 14th place. 2 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock, ladies and gentlemen. So I think the drivers, they're going to do a cool down lap and then they're going to go out, or maybe do 2 cool down laps and then push. Verstappen tops the times, 1/10 ahead of Oscar Piastri. The rain started to fall. The rain master is back, ladies and gentlemen. And it's going to be a very, very exciting for pole position. Very, very exciting fight indeed. Bearman's purple in the middle sector. How has Oliver Bearman gone purple in the middle sector? He hasn't even got a toe off anyone. He's just got some incredible pace and incredible commitment through Maggots and Beckett's to hold it together. He goes through Vale and Club now, and he is pushing that car as hard as he possibly can. Tsunoda up into 6th, great lap from him. Bearman improves up into 3rd position. What is going on here in Silverstone? Oliver Bearman up into 3rd place, Ocon up into 7th, and now we have got Hadjar and Lawson. They are starting their flying laps. Oh my goodness me. This is getting super duper exciting. Currently in the elimination zone, we have got Lance Stroll, Nico Hulkenberg, Liam Lawson, Franco Colapinto, and Pierre Gasly. All right, a minute 30 seconds left on the clock, ladies and gents, and currently top of the times, Max Verstappen, then a 10th back, Oscar Piastri, then half a 10th back is Oliver Bearman, half a 10th back from him, Alex Albon, half a 10th back from him, Fernando Alonso. I mean, I did not expect to see these guys up in the top 5. I don't think nobody expected them to be up in the top 5, but they are, and I must say, what a lap, just sensational laps from all of them. Carlos Sainz, unfortunately, is, Carlos Sainz has a pretty good start to his flying lap, actually, so he's going to be looking to push pretty hard indeed. A minute left on the clock. Now, this is the final laps that all of the drivers are going to get. Anyone out on the circuit, this is going to be their final attempt. Gasly comes across the line to start a flying lap, and Antonelli and Russell. Antonelli improves up into 8th place. Russell, where is he? It's 10th for him right now. He starts a flying lap. Oh, they could be organising a tow here. Antonelli is in sort of a prime position to give Russell a tow down the hangar straight. I don't know if they're orchestrating that or not, but Antonelli might be able to do that one. Leclerc improves up into 8th place. Sainz purple in the first sector, looking really, really good from him. Hadjar improves up into 8th position. What can Liam Lawson, his teammate, do? Both drivers have been driving sensationally. In FP1, they were quicker than both Red Bulls. Lawson, unfortunately, 14th place for him. Russell doesn't get a tow off Antonelli for whatever reason. They didn't organise that. It would have been so easy. Look at that. They're both going down the straight at the same time. Regardless, doesn't matter. Sainz currently in the elimination zone. He has got 3 corners left, Stowe, Vale and Club, to hook up a lap and to get out of Q1. Otherwise, he will be eliminated. Stroll already eliminated. Hulkenberg already eliminated. Colapinto as well. Gasly's on a flying lap. Let's see what he can do. Russell currently in 12th, improves up into 10th. Not that big of a margin ahead of his teammates, and still 3/10 back from Max Verstappen. Carlos Sainz, here he is. 8th position for Carlos Sainz. The smooth operator carries out a smooth operation. 8th place for him. His teammate only a 10th ahead, and that is the end of Q1. Oh, sorry, Gasly come across the line. 15th position for Pierre Gasly. He just makes it through into Q2 by the skin of his teeth. Hamilton also was so close to being eliminated, but that is the end of Q1, ladies and gentlemen. What an eventful Q1 it has been. Lawson out, Bortoleto out, Stroll out, Hulkenberg and Colapinto. Oh my goodness me. And it is so close. Just look at this. The gap from 1st down into 16th is 0.5 of a second. Wow. Okay, well, ladies and gents, the rain is going to continue to fall. The circuit is going to get wetter and wetter, and we're going to have a 3-minute break or 5-minute break till the start of Q2. So let me just pop up a timer onto the screen for the start of Q2. We should be getting that very soon. And I must tell you, this quali session is going to be absolutely incredible. There's no other way to describe it. John Farah, thanks for the donation. Williams, indeed. Williams, what a lap from both drivers. Albon up in 4th, Sainz in 8th. You've got to give, the guys have got to take a lot of credit for that lap. But Franz Hermann up in 1st position. Clearly, Red Bull have designed their car for combat, and they are delivering incredible performance gains compared to yesterday. That's what it is. All of the Red Bull team, they watched the Formula 1 movie. They started designing the car for combat, and here they are. They are up in 1st position. Clearly, that was the one thing that they needed. Okay, yeah. All right, so the rain is still falling, ladies and gentlemen. So it's very minor rain. I do have to point out, it's not like huge thunderstorms or anything like that. Just minor raindrops here and there, but they will build up over time. 4 minutes, 5 minutes of raindrops will make the track damp. It will make it a little bit more slippery, and it makes it all that little bit harder for the drivers to keep the cars under control. We have got 26,000 people watching the live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. It really does help out the channel. And hopefully we can have all of you guys watching for the race tomorrow, because if qualifying is this exciting and there's rain forecast for tomorrow, there's a 70% chance it rains before the race begins. And I like those odds, to be honest. I really do like those odds. So the race tomorrow is going to be incredible. The quali today is so good already, and we've still got Q2 and Q3 left to go. All right, what is the Haas doing in P3 exactly? What is a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas, or something like that? I don't know what it is. I don't know what that meme is, but yeah, how's that happened? Session. What are the FIA doing? The sessions should restart in 3 minutes time. Typically there's only a 5-minute gap between, the session's restarting in 3 minutes and 30 seconds, not 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Correction there, folks. But yeah, 3 minutes, 30 seconds will be underway for Q2, and we've just got the message from race control now. The yellow flag, I don't know, there's a little bit of debris on the circuit or something, but they'll get that cleared up before the start of the session. What is Ferrari thinking? I don't really know, because they sent Hamilton and Leclerc out on used tyres. A lot of other cars, this is the thing. Hamilton, you can see here, 7-lap-old tyres for him. Leclerc, 9-lap-old tyres for him. And yeah, all of these drivers, they're on fresh tyres. Gasly, Lawson, Bortoleto, Stroll, they were all trying Hadjar, Ocon, Alonso, Albon, Bearman, they were all trying for fresh tyres, and that's what made it so close for the Ferraris. Ferraris do have an advantage over the other teams, but Formula 1 is a lot closer than it used to be, and you can't just drive around on old tyres to make it through into Q2 anymore. But yeah, look at this gap though between Leclerc and Hamilton. It's only 1/10 of a second now, and for the majority of practice, it's been flipping between 1/10 of a second of Hamilton ahead, 1/10 of a second Leclerc ahead. So loads of opportunities for things to happen there. We're just going to have a quick look at the Constructors' Championship here, folks, and the Drivers' Championship. So the Constructors' Championship, McLaren 411 points for them, Ferrari 210, Mercedes 209. Those two teams, Ferrari and Mercedes, they are locked in battle for second place. They're fighting over an extra 10 million euros of prize money. So when you go from third place to second place, you get an extra 10 million euros of prize money. And, well, I'm sure anyone would take that any day of the week. So Ferrari and Mercedes, they'll be looking to do a little bit more upgrade packages here and there to make sure that their team ends up in second. Looking further down the grid, we've got Racing Bulls, Haas, Aston and Kick Sauber. They're all very, very close to each other in terms of points, and they'll be looking to get ahead of each other. We'll see, maybe Kick Sauber, double points last weekend. Maybe they can do it again. Well, maybe not, because Bortoletto and Hülkenberg are in 17th and 19th position. But I guess we'll just wait and see, really. Hülkenberg did start the race last weekend out in Austria in 20th position, ended up in 9th, I think it was, or 8th. So a really good race from him, and maybe he can do it again. Haas this weekend have been doing really well. I mean, in this quali session, Bearman up in 3rd, Ocon in 7th, so maybe it's them. Racing Bulls have been showing some promising performance, but Lawson unfortunately eliminated. And yeah, let's have a look at the Drivers' Championship. Just the main thing. Piastri, 216 points. Norris, 201. There's a 15-point gap between these two drivers. Verstappen, 155. Russell, 146. They've got 50, 60, 70 points to close up before they catch up to the McLarens. So, yeah, a lot of work to be done for Verstappen and Russell, but Verstappen looks to be doing it. Russell seems like he's struggling a little bit in these conditions. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've got 24,000 people tuning into live stream. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we are about to get underway for Q2. 35 seconds left on the clock now, and we'll have the drivers exiting the pit lane at any moment. All right. Is it raining? It is pretty, yeah, I would say it is raining, but it's, again, very, very light rain. So that's the situation update in Silverstone. All right. Last year's pole time are 125.8. That's not really that representative anymore with the wet conditions out on the track. That's going to sort of go out the window, and it's not really going to be that much of an issue. As you can see here now, folks, the timer is ticking down. We've got the Q2 has begun, but nobody's coming out into the pit lane just yet. Everyone is just waiting around for everyone else to come out, and everyone's sat in the pit lane. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let me know in the chat, who do you think is going to be getting pole position here? Is it going to be Max Verstappen? Is it going to be Piastri? Maybe Norris? Hamilton's pretty good in the wet conditions. Is it going to be him? George Russell? He's put that Williams in some mega quali laps in the wet. 2021 Spa, he put a Williams in 2nd position, which is wild. Yeah, it could be him, it could be Oscar. Yeah, we've got a lot of mixed suggestions here in the chat. Some people even think Alex Albon. I mean, why not? Isam, thanks for the donation. €6 donation. Oh, the chat's gone by so fast I can't even read the donation. What does it say? Red Bull was and still a one-man team. First Vettel, then Verstappen. Yeah, I mean, I'll quickly just put up the Constructors' Championship here before we get going. I pointed this out a couple of times before, but look at the Constructors. Red Bull have 162 points. Look at the drivers. Max Verstappen has 155. If you do the maths, Max Verstappen has scored 95% of the points that Red Bull Racing have earned. 7 points scored by the number 2 driver, and that is 5% of the points, and Max Verstappen has scored 95% of the points. It is a wild stat. You might as well just call it Max Verstappen Racing, because yeah, I don't really see a point. Okay, so here we go. We got drivers coming out onto the circuit finally. Verstappen leads the way. Then we've got the Hamilton, then Leclerc, then Tsunoda, then Piastri, Alonso, Sainz, and then Albon, and a couple more drivers following them out onto the circuit. Okay, I think the rain has now stopped. I can't really be for sure because it was so light in the first place, I can't really tell. But the rain seems to have sort of stopped falling. Maybe it'll start falling later on, but as of right now, no rain to be seen. The track is still damp though, like it's still a little bit more slippery than it was before, and the clouds are still there, you know, the thunder clouds, the rain clouds, they're still on top of the circuit, they haven't gone anywhere, so not to worry. If you want some more action at the end of Q3, we can all do a rain dance. 26,000 people doing a rain dance, surely we can get a little bit of rain falling on top of Silverstone. Okay, 12 minutes left on the clock, and every driver apart from Russell, Antonelli and Gasly are out on the circuit. And Antonelli, in fact, making his way down the pits, so is Gasly, and so is George Russell. All 15 cars now out onto the circuit. The 5 drivers eliminated were Lawson, Bortoletto, Stroll, Hulkenberg and Colapinto. Those are the bottom 5. And yeah. Okie dokes, here we go then, a flying lap from Max Verstappen. Let's keep an eye out on these fastest sectors here. As you can see, we had the quickest first sector being a 27.7 from Carlos Sainz. Let's have a look. What does Max Verstappen do? A 27.6. He goes a 10th quicker than Carlos Sainz's first sector. And then the quickest middle sector that we've had, a 34.49. That was from Oliver Bearman. Incredible commitment, I've got to say, through Maggots and Beckett's to extract that sort of lap time. And let's see what Verstappen can do. There's a lot of purple mini sectors flying about for next to Max Verstappen's name. Okay. Yeah, here we go then. Verstappen makes his way through Maggots and Beckett's. And what is that middle sector time? A 34.2. How has he gone that much quicker through the middle sector alone? I have no idea, but this is Mad Max. There is no other way to describe it. Verstappen is driving this Red Bull to the limit and beyond. Incredible scenes here, just within track limits at Stowe as well. Makes it through Club Corner, short shifts through that one to reduce wheel spin across the line at 25.3. Half a second quicker than his pole time from last year. Wow. Oh, sorry, I didn't think Max got pole last year. Russell got pole last year, but regardless, half a second quicker than last year's pole time. And Hamilton is 0.8 of a second back. 0.8 of a second. Huge. Sainz goes quicker in the first sector, so there is still lap time to be found here at the circuit of Silverstone. Leclerc across the line, 3rd place for him. He's a second back from Max Verstappen. A full second. Tsunoda, 1.2 seconds back. Oscar Piastri, he goes purple in the middle sector. Looks like he can challenge Max Verstappen. He's really good in the final sector across the line. And it's the exact same lap time, ladies and gentlemen. It's happened. It's happened again. We've had 2 drivers with the same lap time for first position in qualifying. Oh my goodness me. Wow. Sainz, what can he do as he comes across the line? 4th place for him. Alonso's still up in 3rd position. And oh, wow. Albon is in 5th as well. The Williams have got some incredible performance. Somehow they're quicker than the Ferraris. The Ferraris are looking so good all weekend long, and qualifying has arrived and they've fallen flat. 7th and 8th position as of right now. Yeah, what is happening? What is happening? Okay. Okay, Norris is on a quick lap. He goes purple. He goes a 10th quicker than Piastri through the middle sector. Norris might get first position here. He is pushing incredibly hard. Does he stay within track limits at Stowe? Yes, he does. And now he's just got Vale and Club left to go. What can he do? Out of the final corner, gets a really nice exit, and it is first position by 85 milliseconds between Lando Norris, Max Verstappen and Oscar Piastri. So close is the competition for first place here, and we have got a battle on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. Kimi Antonelli and George Russell both on flying laps. Let's see what the Mercedes team can do. It hasn't been so promising in Q1. Maybe their hopes are slightly better in Q2, and let's have a look. Antonelli 11th position. George Russell, what can he do? It is going to be 4th position for George Russell. Great lap from him, but just look at that gap from George Russell to Oscar Piastri. It is 0.3 of a second. That is huge gap between Russell and Piastri, and you've just got to say the McLarens and Max Verstappen are in another league right now. The Ferraris are out on used tyres, so, you know, some of the pace difference here for the Ferraris can be explained by the fact they're on 10 and 12 lap old softs, so I suspect once they put on a fresh set of softs, they'll leapfrog their way up towards where George Russell is, but closing that gap up, you're going to need a special lap from Lewis Hamilton or Charles Leclerc. Otherwise, yeah, the McLarens and Max Verstappen look untouchable right now. Ferrari's not out of tyres. In fact, they are saving their tyres. So, it's a good strategy call from Ferrari. They're saving their tyres, potentially looking to start the race on the softs tomorrow, get a really good launch off the line, and get some overtakes done right at the start of the race. That's why they are saving tyres. That is a potential strategy that they're probably looking into. A lot of teams have been looking into that one so far this weekend. We've got 30,000 people watching. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I'd once again like to point out, if you're watching the stream on TikTok, this stream has been stolen onto TikTok. Someone else has stolen my content and uploaded it to TikTok. The original creator, or the person that's talking right now, is F1 Gamer on YouTube. So if you're watching on TikTok, be sure to come over to YouTube and watch the stream here. We've got 31,000 people watching the stream right now, much better than whatever it is on TikTok. And it's not helping out a person that's just stealing content essentially. Okay, George Russell, the last driver to come into the pits. We're all going to have a little bit of a breather. All the teams are going to look over the telemetry. They're going to look over the data, and we're going to see which teams and where the drivers can gain lap time, where they can't. But the McLarens, they were going 313 kilometers per hour through the speed traps in FP3. Look at that, now 318, 319. They're 5-6 kilometers per hour quicker through the speed traps, and that is purely down to engine mode. They've turned the engine mode up, and they're getting extra speed down the straights, and this is where the pace difference came from. Sonoda and Max still quickest through the speed traps, 325 kilometers, 326 kilometers per hour through the speed traps, quickest out of anyone. They're running the lowest downforce. So let's say push comes to shove tomorrow morning for the race in Silverstone. Max Verstappen, if he's in someone's DRS range, he'll have the extra top speed boost, an extra 7-8 kilometers per hour without DRS even existing, then an extra 10 from DRS, an extra 6 or 7 from slipstream, and it's just going to absolutely blast past the McLarens on the straights. So even if Verstappen doesn't get pole, the fight for the race win is going to be exhilarating tomorrow. Blue mini sectors means the drivers are coming in and out of the pit lane. As you can see, everyone's in the pits, so the blue mini sectors mean their drivers are coming into the pits. And if the blue mini sectors are at the start here in sector 1, then they're coming out of the pit lane. All right. Pally, thank you for joining the channel member. Oh, we've had another person join. Fabian Stockner, thank you for joining the channel member. I totally missed it with all of the commentary going on, but very much is appreciated, folks. And thank you for supporting the channel. Means a lot. Okay, so what else have we got to look forward to then? Well, we're going to have the drivers make their way out onto the circuit very, very soon. Not long till we get underway for some more racing and, for some more qualifying, to put it a little bit more accurately. But yeah. This is Q2. Indeed it is, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, 5 drivers eliminated, so it is definitely Q2. The drivers slowest through the speed traps. Let's have a look here. The Mercs in 12th and 13th position, and then we've got Norris in 15th, but still 318 kilometers per hour. Piastri 318, 319, and then the slowest through the speed trap is Ocon and Bearman. Look at that. They're 315, 360, and so they're the slowest. They're running the most downforce out of anyone. The Red Bulls are running the least downforce out of anyone. Interesting strategy choice. It seems to work out pretty well for the Hasses, though. They're outperforming where we would have expected them to be. They're pretty low down in the Constructors' Championship, but somehow 9th and 10th position still in the Q2 right now. Okay, will it rain tomorrow? Ladies and gentlemen, it will rain tomorrow. However, it's going to rain before the race begins. It's going to rain 4 hours before the start of the race. And then it's a question of, is the circuit going to be that hot? Is it going to dry up? One other thing I'd like to point out, right now it is not going to rain. The sun has in fact just come out. The clouds have cleared up. The sun has come out. Track temperature is rising. It's now up to 28 degrees Celsius. The Red Bull car was very well suited to the cold conditions, with 25 degrees Celsius being the track temperature. So we'll see now how he copes in the slightly hotter conditions. Is that going to change the balance of the car? Is it going to make it a little bit more drivable, a little bit less drivable? Maybe that brings the Mercedes a little bit more into the action, but typically they do well in cold conditions. Maybe 28's better, maybe 25's better. I don't really know. I'm sure the Mercedes team doesn't even really know. Ferrari will now improve on the fresh softs. Indeed, they will. Hamilton and Leclerc both out on fresh soft tyres. In fact, everyone currently out on the track is out on fresh softs, apart from Lando Norris and Max Verstappen. They're both out on used sets of softs. They're basically making it through into Q3. And Piastri as well. Piastri is also out on a used set of soft tyres. Those 3 drivers out on used. Everyone else out on a fresh set. What happened to Colapinto? Colapinto got on the curb going through club corner, spun the car, had to park up on the side of the road, and that was the end of his quali session. All right then. Here we go. We have got 31,000 people watching the live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and look forward to seeing you guys for the race tomorrow. The race is going to be super duper good, especially with this rain forecaster to arrive before the race. It should mean that when we start the race, it's going to be a wet track, and a wet track is good news. Okay, Bearman, second quickest through the first sector, actually. He just goes just behind Carlos Sainz. So, very nice lap there from Oliver Bearman. You know, he's got a 10-place grid penalty for exceeding the speed limit during the red flag, but he clearly does not care. In fact, this has fueled him on to push that extra little bit harder, because it doesn't even matter regardless, because he's going to be starting from the back of the field, most likely. So, he's just gone full send, full commitment for his home Grand Prix. Let's see what Ollie Bearman can do. All right, through the hangar straight again. I don't know what Haas are doing, because Ocon is only like, what, 100, 200 meters back from Bearman. Surely they could have told Ocon to speed up, give Bearman a tow down the straight, but no, they didn't do that. Hamilton purple through the first sector now, and yeah, it's looking good. Charles Leclerc's also on a flying lap. Both Ferraris on a flying lap. Leclerc 10th down in the first sector. Verstappen purple in the final sector, but doesn't improve overall. If he were to hook together all of his best sectors, he would be up in first position. But of course, he hasn't managed to do that on a used set of tyres. Bearman, fourth position for Oliver Bearman. Incredible. Leclerc second fastest in the middle sector, and Hamilton ever so slightly quicker than him, 10 milliseconds quicker. Going through Stowe now, Charles Leclerc clears Antonelli. Now he's just got Vale and Club left to go. The fresh tyres for the Ferraris. How much of a pace difference does it make? Currently, they are 8/10, 1 full second behind the leaders. Across the line comes Charles Leclerc in his first position by 1/10 of a second. What a lap by Charles Leclerc. Here comes Hamilton. He goes half a tenth quicker. It's a Ferrari 1-2, ladies and gentlemen. And Hamilton is up in first place, as he should be in Silverstone. What a lap from Lewis Hamilton. The Ferraris are back. Wow. And Alonso across the line, 7th place for him. Piastri on a used set of tyres doesn't improve as expected. He goes 2/10 slower. And Tsunoda is in 15th position. It's now or never. 16 seconds left on the clock. Can he make it through into Q2? Max Verstappen is going to need him in Q3 to give him a tow down the hangar straight, to get him a little bit more lap time. Here comes Yuki Tsunoda. Can he help out the Red Bull team? He's up in 10th position. The margins are so close. He now depends on the drivers behind him to make a mistake, or maybe not. Here comes Isaac Hadjar, and here comes Esteban Ocon as well. Isaac Hadjar going through club corner. What can he do? Across the line comes Hadjar, 11th position. Tsunoda still stays through into Q3 by the skin of his teeth. Here comes Esteban Ocon. Ocon doesn't improve. It's Antonelli and Gasly left. Antonelli and Gasly yet to hook up a lap, and here comes Gasly out of the final corner. What's it going to be for him? He gets up into 9th position. Yuki Tsunoda is eliminated. Antonelli currently in 15th place. Mercedes' Wonder Kid. Can he get it through into Q3? Here we go across the line. Yes, he can. And we have got Carlos Sainz eliminated and Alex Albon as well. Double elimination for the Williams crew. Yuki Tsunoda eliminated, Isaac Hadjar eliminated, and Esteban Ocon. What a quali lap from Pierre Gasly, I must say. Great lap from him. And 10th position in the Alpine is a sight to behold. And Wow. Okay. Well, Q2 has been eventful. Q1 has been eventful. Q2 has been very eventful. I can't imagine what's going to happen in Q3 here, ladies and gents. The Ferraris are currently up on the top. Of course, Norris, Verstappen, Piastri, they didn't do a lap on a fresh set of softs for their second run. They did a used tyre run. Okay, Albon comes over the radio. No, totally different car. My bad. Guys, we made it difficult for ourselves. So I don't know what Albon did. Maybe they used a different warm-up plan for their tyres or something along those lines. But 11th and 14th position for the Williams duo. And, but they'll be looking to make up places. But as of right now, they are both eliminated. Also, Bearman has made it through. Take a bow, Oliver Bearman. 6th position in a Haas. How has he done that? I have no idea. He's ahead of both Mercedes cars, and the Mercedes cars were on fresh softs as well. It wasn't like it was old tyres that the Mercedes cars were on. It was fresh soft tyres for the Mercedes team, and still Bearman goes quicker. Wow. This is the Ferrari we know. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. All right, folks. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We've got 33,000 people tuned into the QUALI live stream, which I think is actually a channel record. So very much is appreciated. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. Hopefully we can hit our like target, our subscriber target. We're what, 114 subscribers away from 177k. So folks, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, be sure to do so. I'll be commentating for the race tomorrow. It's going to be a very exciting race, and qualifying, well, Q3 is yet to take place. I'll put a timer up on the screen for when Q3 is about to start. It should be in around about 4 minutes time, I think. Okay. One other thing I would like to point out, I'm sponsored by Surfshark VPN. If you guys do want to watch Formula 1 for only $2 a month, what you guys can do is get Surfshark VPN using the link in the description, then go on to join an Austrian VPN server. You go onto Google, you search Service TV, you log into Service TV for free, and then you can watch Formula 1 for free. The only thing you have to pay for, Surfshark VPN. We've got around 300, 400 people using this on the channel right now, so it definitely does work. If it doesn't work for whatever reason, you can always get a refund. And just one other thing to point out, the commentary on Surfshark on Service TV is German. So if you don't understand German, you mute that coverage, you listen to me instead, but you actually get to see the cars going around the circuit. So there's a link in the description. Go ahead and check that one out. But Q3 starting in 3 minutes time. I'm going to take you through a lap of the circuit while we wait. So we'll go through a lap of Silverstone in detail here. So the main thing for coming out of Club Corner here, firstly, don't go on the curbs and spin like Colapinto. Secondly, just straight line your exit as much as possible. You want as little possible steering angle, because every little bit of steering angle you've got, that is going to reduce your level of grip on your rear tires. So you want as straight as possible steering to get as much traction as physically possible. Then you blast down the main straight, of course called the Hamilton straight. Here, going through turn number 1 and turn number 2, what you do is you just minimize the amount of steering wheel input that you do to scrub off as little speed. Here you can see 295 kilometers per hour as the drivers go through there, and they just turn the steering wheel as lightly as possible to minimize the speed that they lose by going through that corner. Then going into farm, straight line braking for this corner. You've got a tailwind through here, so the drivers do lose a little bit of performance, a little bit of grip when they're on the brakes. Then hit this apex nice, you can drive over it. The curbs aren't too harsh for this one. Then you go, oh sorry, it says Q3. Let me change that one. Apologies there, folks. Yeah, Q3. Okay, you continue on with the lap. So for this corner, you're steering and turning at the same time. Very easy to lose the rear of the car, but most drivers do keep it under control. Lance Stroll didn't keep it under control on a certain occasion, but that doesn't matter. On the exit of the loop, again, just straight line your exit as much as you possibly can to get good traction. Probably do a little bit of short shifting as well in the race to preserve your rear tyres. Now going into Brooklyn, what the drivers do, they shift the brake balance rearward, brake past the 100-meter mark. They start braking super duper late and then brake while they're turning into the corner. So you shift the brake balance rearward so your front tyres can manage turning and braking at the same time. And hopefully you don't lock up. We've seen pretty few lockups going through here, actually. The track surface is quite smooth, so it makes it quite hard to lock up, actually. Normally, bumps are the thing that cause lockups. You know, a little bump on the road can cause a lockup quite easily. Yeah, for Luffield, what you do, you hit the first apex, you now drift out wide, then you cut back in for the second apex, and then straight line the exit again. Now, as you're heading towards Copse Corner, the main thing is that you just scrub as little speed as possible, but you also run all the way out to track limits, because if you run slightly to the right, you're going to lose more speed. So the most important thing is to run, is to open up the corner as much as you can and run onto the track limits, because that's the way that you get the most speed through the corner. Now, Magus and Beckett's, what you do, it is flat through the first two corners. So this first little kink to the left, first little kink to the right, you're flat. Then you lift off the throttle. You let the engine braking slow the car down. The engine braking is very smooth at slowing the car down. It doesn't cause like huge jumps in deceleration and stuff like that. So it keeps the car stable as you're going through these high-speed corners. Then going through to the fourth corner here, you tap the brakes, flick the car into fifth or sixth gear, smoothly onto the power, open the DRS, and onto the straight you go. And then you've just got Stowe Corner. Stowe Corner is extremely tricky. Thankfully, the drivers do have a headwind going into this part of the circuit, so you break into Stowe, and at this point, you've reached the apex of the corner, but you still can't see the exit. You have no idea where the exit curb is. You drive off memory, basically, and stay within track limits. On this occasion, I exceed track limits. I'm not a Formula 1 driver. And then you're into Vale, you just break in a straight line, and again, short shift out of Vale, out of Club, to get the best possible exit onto the start-finish straight. Ladies and gentlemen, Q3 is underway. I set the timer up wrong. It's going to be underway in 30 seconds. 30 seconds till Q3 gets underway. I set the timer up 1 minute behind. And yeah, that's a lap of Silverstone, ladies and gents. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And we'll be getting underway. 27,000 people tuned into the live stream. Very much do appreciate everyone tuning in. We've got 12 seconds now till we have a top 10 shootout, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I don't know who's it going to be. It's too close to call, to be totally honest with you. It could be, it could very easily be the Ferraris, it could be the McLarens, it could be Verstappen. Maybe a surprise lap from Russell and Antonelli could put something together, but it seems a little bit unlikely with their performances that we've seen in Q1 and Q2. Again, I'd just like to point out, folks, if you are watching this stream over on TikTok on the Black Box Gaming account, then this stream has been stolen off a creator on YouTube. So if you guys could come over to YouTube and watch it on YouTube, that would very much be appreciated. The name is F1 Gamers. Just come over to just search it into YouTube and it'll be the first thing that comes up. And yeah, I'd appreciate if you guys don't watch someone that's basically just stealing my content and making, I'm presuming he's making a little bit of money from it. Otherwise, why would you do it? All right then, Q3 is underway. We've got drivers out onto the circuit, and here we go then. Let's have a look at these tyres then. So we have got for Max Verstappen a fresh set of tyres, for Lando Norris a fresh set, for Piastri a fresh set, Bearman a fresh set. We do have it's a fresh set of tyres for Hamilton. Antonelli, however, is out on a used set of tyres. George Russell is also out on a used set of tyres. And Alonso's out. Is he out on fresh tyres? Alonso is out on fresh tyres. And we'll see what Pierre Gasly does, currently sat in the pits. Okay, so the lap times from Antonelli and Russell aren't going to be that representative. They're on old tyres, but everyone else is on a fresh set, and we are here at Silverstone for a mega qualifying session. So strap yourselves in and grab some popcorn, because this one is going to be really good. Okay, so here we go then. Max Verstappen starting a flying lap. Bearman also has already begun his flying lap. Let's keep an eye out on these sector times here, folks. 27.5 is the quickest first sector we've seen so far. 34.1 is the quickest second sector we've seen, and 23.3 is the quickest third sector we've seen. And then look at that, Leclerc and Verstappen, identical fastest third sectors. Yeah, incredible. So keep an eye out on that. We'll see what Bearman does. Bearman does a 127.7, so he's 2 tenths off that. Verstappen, however, also a 127.7, so he's 2 tenths down in the first sector. And yeah, he's got a little bit more pace to improve, clearly. Alrighty then. Yeah, we could get imagine El Padre on pole. We could get Fernando Alonso on pole position. He's been putting in some mega laps, hasn't he? Third position, I think 3 times now that he's popped himself up into third. So, or maybe 2 times. But regardless, great laps from Alonso, great laps from all of these drivers. We're in for a beast of a quali session here. Okay. Here we go. Middle sector, a 34.18 for Verstappen, so that's still a tiny bit slower than Norris's quickest. Piastri, purple in the first sector, purple in the second sector. This man is on a mission. Max Verstappen, a 125.2. So he's about half a second quicker than last year's pole time. Oscar Piastri, though, is approaching the start-finish straight very, very soon. Here he comes across the line. What's the Aussie he going to do? It is 3/10 clear of Max Verstappen, and he is 10 kilometers per hour slower down the straight. Verstappen, 328 kilometers per hour, the quickest out of any driver through the speed trap. Oscar Piastri, 319. He's 10 kilometers per hour slower down the straights, but he's still up in first position. Norris in second, but my God, I must tell you, if there's a 10 kilometer per hour speed difference down the straights right now, with the DRS, with the slipstream tomorrow, the McLarens are going to be a sitting duck to Max Verstappen. Verstappen is just going to breeze past them if he can stay within DRS range, which is a big if, but regardless, it's going to be extremely tight. Oh my God, a mega lap from Lewis Hamilton, only a 10th back. It's first place for Piastri, second for Hamilton, third for Norris, fourth for Verstappen, fifth for Leclerc. Russell, and Antonelli are out on used tyres. Alonso across the line, seventh place for him, unfortunately. No pole position from the Spaniard. And the last driver to come across the line is Pierre Gasly. We're coming to the end of the first runs here in Q3, and Pierre Gasly is out on a used set of tyres as well. Across the line, and he's in 10th position, 8/10 back from Antonelli. All right, Piastri has said check the floor, so clearly he was pushing extremely hard and has damaged the floor somewhere, but yeah, if we look at the track dominance, Hamilton is only quicker than the McLarens on the exit of Maggots and Beckett's, on the exit of Stowe, and through turns just on the exit of Abbey, so turns number 3, 4, 5, so Farm and the Loop. Let me just show you on the map there. I haven't labelled them. But Hamilton's quicker through here, through this part of the circuit. He's quicker through the second part of Maggots and Beckett's down the Hanger Straight. He's also quicker here. But apart from that, the McLarens of Oscar Piastri is quicker at every other part of the circuit. Yeah, sight to behold, really, that lap from Oscar. Let's see what Hamilton can do, though. I mean, he is so good at the circuit. He's had not the best season so far. He is looking to get his first pole position with Ferrari. He of course got that sprint pole, but not an actual pole position just yet. And if anyone can do it at Silverstone, it is going to be Lewis Hamilton. Oscar Piastri is in for a great shout. He's got the most wins of any driver this season. Lando Norris coming off the back of a fantastic win in Austria and a fantastic recovery from the bad race out in Canada. So can he continue on his form at his home Grand Prix? Max Verstappen is doing has witnessed a miracle. The Red Bull was so bad yesterday. The engineers, the mechanics worked tirelessly overnight, including the test drivers, to get a new setup for the car. They have got a new setup for the car, and it's delivering some pretty solid performance. Verstappen just has to hook together the perfect lap if he wants to snatch pole away from the McLarens or Hamilton's hands. All right. Yeah, the top 5 are pretty close. I mean, 0.3 of a second between the top 5. Isn't that what I predicted? I think I predicted 0.3 of a second between the top 5 and a 10th between the top 3 or something like that. Who knows? But regardless, a very close qualifying session. And also, folks, we are 14 subscribers away from hitting 177k. So if you guys haven't hit the subscribe button, be sure to do so. Hopefully we can hit 177. And yeah, it's been a pleasure commentating to you guys so far. QUALI has been incredible. The race tomorrow is going to be even better. And I hope to see all of you there because... well, I cannot wait for this race to start. There's rain forecast for the start of the race. So, sorry, not for the start of the race. 4 hours before the start of the race, there is rain forecast. So that means that we will be getting rain forecast, essentially. The rain's going to fall 4 hours before the race begins. Then the track will probably stay quite damp for the start of the race, potentially start on inters. I don't really know. It depends how heavy the rain is tomorrow. And the British weather, as always, is very unpredictable. So I guess we'll see what happens there. 35,000 tuned into the live stream right now. Looks like we're the second biggest live stream on YouTube, maybe. Yeah. Thanks to all of you folks. I mean, very much is appreciated. Let's have a look. How many more big live streams are there out on YouTube? Doesn't matter. Antonelli's making his way out the pit lane. So is George Russell. And oh no, we are. I think we are the biggest. Oh, brilliant. We're the biggest live stream out on YouTube. Fantastic, ladies and gents. Anyway, none of that matters. What matters now is the Mercedes are out on fresh tyres. Everyone is coming out on a fresh set of Pirelli rubber, the C4 tyres that haven't been used at qualifying at Silverstone before. The first time they're being debuted here, we've already beaten last year's pole time. Last year's pole time, we've nearly smashed it by a full second. Even though we had a couple of raindrops here and there, the track got a little bit damp. Oscar Piastri nearly went a full second quicker than last year's pole time. So a very, very good lap. And here we go. Oh my goodness me. 3 minutes now till the end of the session. And Antonelli, Russell, they're all coming out right at the start of the lap. So what this means is they're going to have a clean track ahead of them. There's no chance of a yellow flag or some double yellows or anything slowing them down. They're going to push right from the get-go and nothing's going to stop them. However, they will have slightly worse track conditions compared to the drivers that are going to be going out dead last. So whoever comes out dead last is going to have the best possible conditions. Verstappen, by the looks of it, is coming out dead last, actually. Verstappen needs every little bit of help that he can get. We know the Red Bull car isn't the best right now on the grid, but Verstappen could be argued to be the best driver on the grid now. He's using every single little thing to his advantage to try and get pole position here. Hamilton is out behind Leclerc, and he's going to be trying to get pole position. Leclerc will have looked over Hamilton's telemetry, seen where he needs to push a little bit harder to catch up to his teammate. Now it's a question of whether he can execute it out on the circuit. Antonelli starts his flying lap. We've got Russell behind him. Then we've got Bearman. All right, here we go then. We are coming down the first two corners. Antonelli's done a fantastic job so far. Can he pull off another great quali for the Mercedes team? Are we going to get a masterclass from Lewis Hamilton? Are we going to get a masterclass from someone else? Only time will tell. Antonelli through the first sector at 26.5. He's only a tenth down on Lewis Hamilton's first sector. That's a mega first sector from Antonelli. And is that Verstappen? Is Verstappen giving Antonelli a tow? Is he hoping for a favour back down the following straight? Verstappen is giving Antonelli a tow down the straight towards Copse Corner. So Verstappen's going to be hoping for a thank you back and a tow on his flying lap. We'll see if Antonelli delivers. Okay, George Russell through the first sector as well, extremely quick. So's Lando Norris. All of the drivers through the first sector, 27.6. Verstappen's also going to be giving George Russell a tow. He's going to give both Mercedes drivers a tow. Hope that one of them can give him a tow on his quali lap. Verstappen is playing all of the games here, right? He's doing everything that he can in his power to get pole position. Piastri purple through the first sector, quicker than his teammate by half a tenth of a second through the first sector. Charles Leclerc also extremely quick, but Hamilton, he goes a tenth quicker in the first sector. Incredible scenes from Lewis Hamilton. He could be on for pole position here. George Russell across the line. It is second place. What a lap. 34 milliseconds is the gap from George Russell. Oh my goodness me, Antonelli's in 7th, Bearman across the line, it's 8th place for him. Here comes Lando Norris, this is his home Grand Prix, he's purple in the middle sector, he comes across the line, it's only 2nd place, 15 milliseconds is the gap between himself and his teammate. Piastri yellow in the middle sector, made a little mistake, he comes across the line. What is it going to be for Oscar Piastri? He does not improve, but he's still on provisional pole. Not if Charles Leclerc or Verstappen or Leclerc can help him out. All right, Verstappen, in fact, might be getting a tow off Antonelli here, so pretty good going, but here comes Charles Leclerc. The Monegasque hasn't been on pole for a while. It's going to stay that way. 4th place for him. Lewis Hamilton, 9 wins at Silverstone before. Can he get pole position? No, he cannot. 4th place, unfortunately, for Lewis Hamilton. A good comeback, though, and he's in a great position for the race tomorrow. Here comes Fernando Alonso. What's it going to be for him? 9th place, unfortunately. It's Gasly, and now it is Mad Max. It's purple in the first sector, purple in the second sector. He has just got 3 corners left to go. Stowe, Vale, and Club. What can he do? Gasly comes across the line. It's 10th place for him. Mad Max is coming through the final 2 corners. He holds it together. He short shifts out the final corner. Amazing traction across the line. What's it going to be for Max Verstappen? Pole position by 1/10 of a second. Incredible machine. Incredible lap from Max Verstappen. This guy is an absolute alien. Oh my goodness me, he has pulled off a miracle. Red Bull has pulled off a miracle. He's in pole position. What a lap by Max Verstappen. He has destroyed the hopes and dreams of Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, and he is back to fight for this championship. Simply lovely. Wow. Oh my god. What a lap from Max Verstappen. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that is mind-blowing. Simply lovely. Yeah, there's, oh my god. Yeah, there's no other way I can describe it, really. I'm lost for words. Okay, thank you everyone for tuning in. I'm gonna pop up the race stream into the chat right now. I'm gonna end the stream. I'll also take you over to the race stream. Be sure to tune in for the race tomorrow. I mean, a battle between Verstappen, Piastri, Norris, Russell, Hamilton. I mean, this just cannot get any better. So I hope to see all of you guys there for the race tomorrow. It is going to be absolutely mega. So yeah, that is all from me. I'm going to end the stream now. It's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. Have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on where you are in the world. And I hope to see you for the race tomorrow. Yeah, there's the link to the race stream. I'm also going to end the stream. If you could hit the like button on the race stream tomorrow, it really does help out the channel, really does help out the algorithm. And yeah, that is all from me. Please hit the like button, the reminder button. The YouTube algorithm does love it. All right, I shall see you in around 22 hours for the race tomorrow. I cannot wait. What a qualifying session this has been.